It's sent. There's 200 people. Okay. Addressing the scandal. For those of you who don't know, we do a Saturday stream every Saturday, and there's been a scandal over the last week. It's been pretty scandalous. That's why I got my scandal hat on. We're talking about the scandal. Okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, there's something going on. Like I'm getting acne. I'm gonna put these back on because I look better with them on for the first time ever. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to see all of you. Today we are going to do Saturday stream. The scandal this week, I don't. Yeah, there's been a lot of them. Like I just kind of up and left iFunny and people were telling me to leave. That was fun. I started on Reddit. That didn't go well at all. And yeah, I can't show my face because I got like a big welt under my eye. Look at that. Ooh, I don't like that. But I'm supposed to be studying. I have a big test tomorrow. It is the test that gets me the last part of my A&P, which makes me an aerospace mechanic. So I should probably be doing that. But I'm here with you because I love all of you very, very, very much. So first, it's probably time that you guys learn a little bit about me because I've learned a lot about you. So crack open a cold one with the boys. And let's get right into this. Hang on. I'm not getting paid by Coca-Cola. It's just that this is what I was on the Kroger click list, and I am Airplane Friend. Okay, so a little bit about me. We should probably get into the background before we get into the scandal. My name is George. I am an aerospace mechanics student turned aerospace engineering student. I wanted to be a pilot, but it didn't exactly work out very well. Yeah, I've had an interesting life, but long story short, I really got into airplanes. I always have been, and I started the iFunny a long time ago, and then recently got big. And so I was working with the YouTubers like a volunteer thing, just because why not? And since everything went big, I decided it would. Oh, I can actually angle. I can angle it down. There we go. That's better. When I got big, I wasn't expecting to go as big as I did, and I just realized I'm far away. I wasn't expecting it to blow up, so when it did, I was like, "Hey, let's just go start a YouTube channel and then do aviation, like aviation content, like I've kind of wanted to do for a while, and things haven't worked out." And so I started plugging the channel. And by the way, I do have an aviation background, an aerospace background. I think I need to clarify that. I joined the Experimental Aircraft Association at age 13. So, I like airplanes a little bit. But the scandal. Now we get to the scandal. I am the most hated person on iFunny because I create a bunch of drama. I don't care. That's the scandal. The scandal is that I'm, advertising myself on iFunny. Absolutely. I created this channel because of Airplane Friend, because I became Airplane Friend. That was my username. I don't really care if you guys call me Airplane Friend or if you call me George, but bro, where can I get those shades? Got them at Dollar Tree. They cost $1. That's what I wear. Dollar Tree shades. But the people have become very, very, very mad at me, and they want some sort of like public apology or something, that I need to own up to the fact that I've been shamelessly advertising on iFunny and shamelessly advertising on Reddit. You guys should know a little bit about why this channel happened. It happened because, one, I got big on iFunny and I had the opportunity. And two, when I was in aerospace mechanics school, I was doing very, very well my first year. And I was told that I had to tutor some of the students that weren't well. And every student that I tutored dropped out. Everyone that I worked with quit. And that is the most demoralizing thing in the world. Originally, out of the 31 students who started, so they like 100 kids applied or something, 31 got accepted. I think only 10 finished. And that's not good. That's not good for aviation. And they constantly talk about how we don't have enough mechanics, we don't have enough pilots. And now that the pandemic's happening, all the old guys are going to quit. They're going to retire. And that's, we're not going to have anybody to keep doing things. Part of the reason that we have so many problems nowadays getting things flying is because we just don't have enough engineers. We don't have enough people to keep up with the demand. Like back in the 1960s, we had tons of people who could sit there all building a rocket engine, building the F1 liquid rocket engines. We can't do that anymore because we just don't have enough people. There are less people interested in aviation now than there were in the 1960s, and the average age of the average general aviation aircraft is over 50 years old. The average plane was built in 1967. Aviation's in a huge slump, and not just aviation, aerospace, space as well. There's been this divide between space and aerospace, or space and aviation. Like there's aerospace, the astronauts, the astronomers, and the astrophysicists, and then there's the pilots. And there's like this major separation. I want to bridge that, and I want to get young kids interested, all young kids, kids, young adults. Obviously, the channel's aimed at young adults because getting kids interested right now is kind of hard to do. But later on, we'll reach out to kids. So this channel is entirely nonprofit at this time. We don't make any money off of advertisement, and we're very, very small. So when people absolutely rip on me, they're like, "You're advertising, you're making me so mad. This is not what I signed up for. I came to iFunny for memes, not for YouTube advertisements." It's like, well, okay, I don't care. I don't care. Be mad. That's fine. I'm trying to do something good for the world. And if you have a problem with that, then that's unfortunate. But to want to attack the channel, downvote things, and just kind of follow me places and be like, "You suck," is just, it's a little annoying, because I'm not in this to try to make $1 million. I'm in this to leave an impact on a community that I care about and to share it with people that I think are good, good people. So I just wanted to get that out there, and I wanted to make sure that everybody knows that I have absolutely no shame about advertising this channel on iFunny. I have no shame about leaving iFunny. I will not be going back. I would really appreciate it if you guys would, share my stuff. And the reason I say that is because it's not, when I say I'm trying to associate it with a personality, with a YouTube personality. And part of the reason is because personalities are what sells online. And in truth, it's not just me. It's a whole team of people, and we are working together on this project, and we work very, very hard. And so when people rip on it and we get nothing but negative press, it makes it really hard for the people who are working on this, and they don't get to see all the stuff that I see about all you guys who care about it. They get really demoralized, and it's hard for them to want to keep going. So in all fairness, yeah, it's probably unethical for me to advertise my channel, our channel, and it's acceptable for me to go posting things on subreddits or on Instagram or on Twitter. But if you guys enjoy our content, the best thing that you can do to support us is to share it with people that you like, share it with people that you care about, people who might be interested in aviation, people who might be interested in aerospace. And it is with great pride that I announce our next video will be about Sputnik, and I will be recording it on Monday. I hadn't even started research because I have a big test tomorrow. When I get back from the big test, I'm cleaning and I'm doing research, and that's my whole thing. So at this time, I'm going to take a few comments, questions, concerns, shots in the dark. Feel free to just hit me with it. Wow, that was a lot harder than I thought. Wow, I had a lot of caffeine today. So let's see what's in the comments here. All right, don't let people bring you down. If they talk shit, just call them pee-pee poo-poo dog heads. God damn, those are words of wisdom. Part of the crew, part of the ship. Straight out of the Pirates of the Caribbean, the island pirate people. Why iFunny? Yes, that was like the meme app I was on in 2015. I never left. It's as simple as that. There's not any real reason why I stayed there. Who is the airplane friend on iFunny now? I don't think that there is one. I think one of the crew members was managing that, and then now they're just like, I don't want to deal with that. These people are toxic. Why did I start on iFunny? Because I was commenting on features, because I just looked at the features and I was like, funny comment. And then you got 10,000 followers. So if you cover Sputnik, does that mean that you will be covering space things? Yes, this channel's aerospace, not just aviation. We will cover space things. Cock and ball torture to those who oppose you. I can't say that. I can't say that stuff. I just walked right into it. Why did you miss Shrek 2 for your newest video? Because I don't know if you saw, but that newest video was far better than the old ones. It was a little bit too monotone. I think my personality could have been a lot better, and the content was a little bit milquetoast, but it was a step forward technically. I spent all of that time refining, okay, this is what my shot should look like. it should sound like. This is where the audio level should be. This is the mic I should use. I just ordered another new mic. That's my third. Have you heard of Sab and Army of Christ? Yes, I have. We don't talk about them. Those are people that you don't talk about. You don't talk about those two. Fuck yeah, space. Yeah, fuck yeah. Space is cool. Is he going to finish those rates? I don't know. What happened to you to get the mark under your eye? I have no idea. I have no idea how that got there. I have no clue. That is not a joke. I have no idea. Did you watch the SpaceX launch? Yes, I did. I watch all launches. I like the Spirit Airline videos. Thank you so much. Airplane gargling sounds. Supersonic, Poppy, LOL. You were more wholesome, though. I was more wholesome. I'm a little less wholesome because now I'm heading a project that's hard. It's hard, and then people on the sidelines are like, "Hey, you suck," and I'm over here like, "What are you talking about? I'm the one running the marathon, not you. And I don't even like running. People who run for fun are insane. Like, imagine torturing yourself like that and thinking it's a good idea." Why are those glasses so cool? Because I look so awful without them. Is it regular Coca-Cola? No, it is Coca-Cola Zero because I'm a peasant. And we're not sponsored by Coke because nobody will sponsor us because we have 2,000 subscribers. And which you guys are, as far as 2,000 subscribers go, you guys are the greatest. Lock your back door. Georgie's going to steal your ExxonMobil Jet TM Oil 254 Aviation Lubricating Gas Turbine Oil 55-gallon drum. 55 gallons are too heavy to carry. I like when they come in like the little itty bitty bottles. So I spilled a whole bottle of those while building my first engine, which blew up, by the way. That's a funny story. I blew up. Yeah, I spilled a bunch of oil, broke some parts, and then blew up the first engine that I was learning how to work on when I was in power plant, which sucks. Actually, as a dude currently studying for FAA UAS license, I'm sorry for your existence. That test sucks. I really enjoy watching your stuff, man. I love the dumb little comments you made. Thank you. I like these sunglasses too. Catalyst Fusion. Yeah, the UAS license is an interesting license now that they require it for drone flying. I have a drone. I don't fly it because I kept thinking I was going to get my private pilot's license, and then I ran out of money, and now I should probably just go get the UAS license because I will never, ever, ever be a pilot. Why does Flight Sims Team Edition suck so much? Because it's from 2006. I just saw the NASA Minotaur 6 launch at Wallops this week, and it made me think of you. Oh, well, thank you so much, Nathan Gover. Should we go back to supersonic air travel? There we go. Finally, a good question. Well, they were all good questions, but this is one that I can really expand on. Should we go back to supersonic air travel? Why or why not? Well, should we go back? Absolutely. I would love to see us go back, but I think... So, one... For those of you who don't understand, supersonic air travel was the future in the 1950s and 60s. People thought that airplanes were going to be going faster, 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 higher, higher, higher. And then we started to realize that when they break the speed of sound, they go boom! There's like a big shock wave afterwards. And this is because just basically all the energy piles up on one edge. So you've got, when you go supersonic, it creates shock waves. And what happens is, trying to find a piece of paper here that doesn't have like personal information. Everything has a password on it. Hang on, let me draw this out for you. I'm trying to do this in a matter of 15 seconds. Okay, so Concorde, wing, hang on. Bear with me here. Okay, here's our airplane, right? Airplane, supersonic, delta wing, really, really cool. All right, so when air hits the front here, it creates a shock wave when it goes supersonic. This is called... well, we won't get into the official terms here, but it doesn't look like that. It looks more like this. So the shock wave comes off like this along the airplane, but the wings create a shock wave as well, and that comes off like that. So you see where these shock waves meet? Well, that's not great. We don't want that. They're going to continue to go out until they hit the ground, and they're going to combine with the shock wave from this and any other leading edge surface. So when all these shock waves stack up, what goes from like one single sonic shock becomes a big boom, and that big boom is loud enough that it can break windows because it's... Oh, we actually can't see the drawing. Oh, okay. Here, let me show you. So you got shock waves on the nose out here, right? Shock waves coming off the leading edge of the wing. So where those intersect, that's where your sonic boom happens, and that's going to stack up back here. If I drew the shock waves going off here, because these extend all the way to the ground. So if the shock waves from the various leading edges meet at any given point before they reach the ground, they combine and become one big wave. And that one big wave hits like a freight train. It'll break glass, it'll break your eardrums. So we can't have them flying over. It doesn't work, because if you're flying over a nice city with glass skyscrapers, so much for your windows. And that's kind of a problem. People don't like that. So what happened is we ended up banning supersonic air travel. And then now we think we figured out a way that if you line all the shock waves up, it'll work, and you still have a supersonic aircraft, but instead of going boom, it goes boom. And when it goes boom, those are all quieter than the one really loud high amplitude wave. I hate looking at this in the fish finder. I'm putting these back on. But NASA's on crack, first of all, because they have spent all this time designing an aircraft where the shockwaves perfectly line up. So let me draw this out again. So NASA's new airplane has everything. Let's see here. That's an airplane. This is gonna suck. Okay, so think that this is an airplane. It's not. But NASA's shockwaves all perfectly line up. I think they worked with Northrop Grumman. This is called the X-59. This is not what it looks like. But the idea is that when all the shockwaves line up, it does the boom. But in reality, from what I've heard, all you need to do is make sure that these don't intersect with these. So as long as these are more blunt and closer to a 90-degree angle from the longitudinal axis than these are, you should be fine. So while NASA's testing this whole perfectly balanced aircraft type thing, in reality, we actually have some room to work and design as we build our supersonic airliners. And once this test model works, which NASA's calling the X-59, then we're going to have supersonic air travel again. As soon as it's approved, it's off to the races. And I think people are absolutely going to do it because time is extremely, extremely valuable nowadays. But at the same time, supersonic airliners are coming at a time when space travel is becoming more prevalent. So we don't know what's going to happen. Are people going to fly in supersonic airliners, supersonic corporate transports, or are they going to go and say, screw that, I'm going to leave the atmosphere, I'm going to fly in my suborbital spacecraft, and I'm just going to land down below and not even give a shit about staying in the atmosphere, just go as high as possible. Somebody mail me a whiteboard. I would love a whiteboard. Hey, George, I'm factory resetting my computer. Do you need anything? No. NASA moon launch 2024. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I feel that one. And yes, it's a ribbon. Quest, the QUESST. That stands for Quiet Supersonic Transport. Air Force and Navy pilots don't care for your rules on speed. That is true. They do not. NASA needs more money. I completely agree. Say what you want about President Trump, but he doubled NASA's budget. That needed to happen a long time ago. I do not know why Barack Obama did not do that. I do not know why Bush didn't do that, but NASA needs more funding. And so far, President Trump is the only one to do that. And I'm really glad because they were not doing well. We need more NASA. We need more aerospace research. We need more aerospace development. We need the Space Force. We need Air Force Department of Research. We need to be building new space planes. We need to be building new airplanes. We need to be building new aerospace everything. We've become very complacent. We are using technology from the 1950s and 1960s with very few modifications apart from computerized systems. And that's not where aerospace should be. I'm plugging your channel to my friend that wants to be a pilot. That sounds like a great idea. I really appreciate that. NASA needs more beer. Felt that. Why does this test suck actual balls, bro? It's so much shit. Okay, I have to master only 300 questions for my OMP, which is tomorrow. So, tomorrow. And I had to do 1,500 for the first test. So, should I join the Air Force? Yeah, good idea. Lycoming IO360 experimental that sputters while running. First, it's lean. Second, the sputtering sounds like ignition. Going to try to taking the P leads off the mags running. Ideas RV4. If it's lean, that will lead to sputtering. A lean aircraft could even backfire in the cylinder. So I'd fix your mixture issue. I would adjust the carburetor first because that's going to be the easiest thing to adjust. So the IOS 460, for those of you who don't know, is like it's a 4-cylinder horizontally opposed engine, and it's very simple. It's, oh wait, no, it's not carbureted, it's IO. Duh. It's fuel injected. Duh, I forgot what the I stood for. If it's fuel injected, check to make sure that everything is within tolerances first before you start screwing with the timing. The sputtering sounds like ignition. I don't know. I just lost 5 subscribers talking about this. Going to try to take the P lead off the mags and run it. I wouldn't do that because it won't shut down. I wouldn't. 1, don't take the P leads off. 2, don't start with the magnetos. Everybody starts with the magnetos. But my recommendation, if you want better efficiency and better power, replace one of your magnetos with the new solid state magnetos. I think they're approved for the IO360 and the normal O360 on certified aircraft. And since you're experimental, you can probably just get away with throwing them on there because even though it's a certified engine, it's on an experimental platform. So it should be fine. What is my job? From Lucadus or Lucadus. I am unemployed. Full-time student. I was supposed to be an aircraft mechanic this summer, but nobody's hiring because nobody's flying. Rip Bowtie. Wait, there's a Discord. Yes, there is. If somebody wants to share the Discord link, I have Discord open on another computer right now. 4-cylinder boxer. Check the spark plug gap. I could see it being the spark plugs. That could easily do it. And check the spark plugs for condition as well if you're going to be pulling them. Usually spark plug condition will tell you a lot about how an engine's running. But I usually tell people start with the stuff on the outside of the engine and then work your way in. Because if it's something really simple on the outside and you start taking a cylinder apart, you're going to hate yourself. All right, we've dropped down to 29 viewers. Yikers, Scoob. I'm only going to be doing this for about half an hour to an hour. So let's get back into some hard questions. Feel free to ask me something. If not, I'll go into the news and talk about aviation news or aerospace news this week. NASA's actually invented many really useful things that we use every day. That is true, and that is why we need to fund them more. You have new plugs. Okay, well, I'll hit me up on the Discord. I can try to walk you through that. A Jetsons future, assessing the role of flying cars in sustainable mobility. No, flying cars are never going to happen. That's something that I want to hit on. I see that everywhere. We're like, we're going to do urban air mobility or UAM. Urban air mobility. These are like unmanned quadcopter flying car things. I see them at the air shows where they're showing them off. They're like, this one has 8 propellers. It's the future of flying. Someday you're going to get into a cab and it's going to fly you to the other side of the city. That's never going to happen. That's not happening because it uses so much power to fly that hauling one person's butt around in a helicopter, even if it's electric, your flight time is always going to be garbage. And there's other problems, such as it has to be unmanned, because if it's not unmanned, you have to get a rotary wing license, which means you have to learn how to fly a helicopter to fly one of these quadcopter things, which I don't think the average person wants to learn how to fly a helicopter. It's a lot of work. And then there's the problem of what happens if one of the rotors fails. There can't be any redundancy because if one fails, it flips. It's completely thrust driven. And then since it's urban air mobility, you're over dense population, you're crashing into an orphanage or a children's hospital or a school or something terrible. That's why we don't have helicopters that fly low over New York anymore. There's no helicopter transit service because one of them crashed once and that was it. Like the idea that people are thinking, oh yeah, we'll just have self-flying helicopters over Chicago. Like, you guys don't realize that we had normal helicopters over New York and Chicago once, right? Okay, as long as we're still on the same page that we've already done this and it didn't work, then we'll keep dreaming. But it is what it means. Another 900 watch hours. That's not accurate. Everyone would crash into each other. Yes, they would. Self-flying works great until a sensor goes bad. 737 Max. Where's the hat? Where's the hat? I had the hat. I lost the hat. Hang on. No, I lost my hat. My hat. I had a hat. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Put on your 737 Max hats, boys, because we're going to let the airplanes fly themselves. I hit you up in the Discord. Thank you, sir. Discord link is in the channel description, too. That is correct. All right. What's next? So we've got simple fuel-efficient rocket engine could enable cheaper, lighter spacecraft. We're going to end up replacing it with nuclear anyway because Russia, as I mentioned in like my very first one, Russia already developed a thermonuclear rocket engine. And once we hit nuclear, because it's so much more power, it's magnitudes more power. Once we hit that, there's not really going to be a lot of going back. It's a progression of technology. It's kind of like how if you're playing War Thunder, you can keep upgrading your old tank or your old airplane, or you can just get the new airplane. This is like getting the new airplane. So why keep investing in the old stuff when you got the new stuff here? Maybe it's a little less developed, but it can, in the end, put out a lot more power. By the way, be sure to hit the like button. So I was in the Discord but got kicked. That is correct. I'll join the server after the stream. Idiots already can't drive cars properly. We have over 1 million people dying in car accidents per year worldwide. How are we supposed to trust people to fly cars when they can't even drive? I completely agree, Weaponized Walrus. That is a major, major problem. And, people are very quick to go out and want to protest when something's not their responsibility. They will protest for more aviation safety, more regulation. But when you tell them to stop texting and driving, it's my right. I don't have to wear a seatbelt. Like, that's so stupid. It's just kind of weird where they want to regulate everybody else's stuff, but then they don't want to take the steps themselves. It kind of seems like safety and regulation needs to be something that we're all in on together, and we all need to work together and need to accept responsibility when it's ours and know what the smart and good thing to do. Like, yeah, sure, you have a right to not wear a seatbelt, but if you don't wear a seatbelt, you might hit something going 40 miles an hour and hit a tree with your face at 40 miles an hour. Just wear the seatbelt. Crazy idea. Short range VTOL, commercial civilian transport for those living in semi-remote or rural areas. That was actually proposed. That was the Rotodyne. And it almost happened. The British government killed it. It had some problems with sound and efficiency while taking off and landing, but it was an entirely VTOL, fast-flying aircraft. It was really cool. What do you mean by scandal? We were talking about that earlier, the iFunny scandal. Oh, by the way, another iFunny scandal that we're just going to hit on right now. If people say that I got caught in like a group chat or something, because I've gotten this message like 3 times where people are like, I read somewhere that you got caught doing this or that or anything else. I don't use iFunny for anything. I don't participate in group chats. I don't use iFunny at all anymore. But when I did, I didn't do group chats. I didn't do anything else. I didn't like follow any of the fandom groups on iFunny because I was so inundated with so many people messaging me at once. It took multiple people just to work through the messages from people who were fans of what we were doing. That stuff's just they're like trying to poking. I'm making you look less, that stuff, and more power to them. But it's not true. I crave for the forbidden lamb. Did we seriously have the same idea? I did not see it. Let's see. Oh, they posted the same thing. Hey, George, I'm here too from Chloroform. Welcome to the chat. So, I don't know if you saw this, but I got a question from Catalyst Fusion. What changes the prop's pitch on a constant speed propeller hub? Is it gearing or oil pressure? It changes the pitch. So there's basically counterweights on a propeller. And first of all, when a propeller is turning, there's multiple forces that are acting on it. There's the centrifugal force, there's the thrust bending force, and there's the aerodynamic forces, and there's a few others. I don't remember all of them because you have to memorize it for the test, and I had it memorized and I forgot because I don't work on propeller aircraft with constant speed props. And so when a propeller changes angle, because it's an advanced one that can change angles, it, depending on the propeller model, will be usually turned with a lesser degree. So it'll be flatter, or flatter by a speed or spring, and by a counterweight on the propeller. Centrifugal force helps it turn. And when you want to bring it to a higher pitch angle, because that's going to be harder to do, you're going to have to use oil pressure. So that's what we use the prop governor for. That changes the oil pressure, and we can actually set it to different pressures. So who knew flying was so complicated, LMAO? Yeah, it's impressive. So when I joined aerospace mechanics school, I thought, oh, cool, we're gonna learn how airplanes work. I thought that was gonna be really easy because I was an idiot high schooler at the time. I also thought that flying an airplane and owning an airplane were relatively easy. And then I found out when you get into aerospace mechanics school, you need to learn flight physics, you need to learn calculus. Oh God, you need to learn electrical, electronics, hydraulics, pneumatics, sheet metal forming, welding, soldering. There's so much stuff in here. There's so much that you have to learn to work on this, and you have to be certified on all of it. So I can't just be a hydraulic specialist. I have to do pneumatics. I have to do electronics. I have to do electrics. I have to be able to fix just about everything. I think George is killing my fear of flying. Yeah, no, it's okay. Airplanes are the most well-designed things in the world. And spacecraft too. We have to have redundancy after redundancy after redundancy. And a lot of times we have 4 or 5 ways to combat a single problem on an aircraft. That's why it's in the news when one crashes, because they shouldn't crash. There's millions of them that fly every day, and they don't. And when they do, it's big and fiery, and people get hurt. But it's such a rare occurrence. It's newsworthy. Millions of people die in car crashes every year, and there's tons of car crashes every day, yet we just assume that driving cars is an assumed risk. The same thing can be said for airlines. Flying on an airliner is an assumed risk, but it's a lot less than driving a car. In fact, I believe it is 8 times safer to fly in an airplane than it is to drive your car. So don't ever forget that. The most dangerous part of flying on an airplane is driving to the airport. He's not even scratching the surface, LMAO. That is correct. I am not. Everything that I talk about is very general content. Now, during this chat, because there's been a few aviation-oriented people, I've gone a little bit more in-depth on some topics to try to please them. But everything on this channel is going to be relatively general. And sometimes we're going to explain topics in depth, but we're going to do it in a way that you understand and you're comfortable with. Like someday we may explain how jet engines work. Actually, we will. That is very much on the list. And there's... I don't know how to put this. We're going to try to make you more comfortable about the general aspects of aerospace, about how things work, what things are, the history of them, and help you want to get more involved. But we're not going to try to overwhelm you or get really technical. Like there's channels that are completely devoted to this is the history of an airplane. We're not just about that. Like right now we've talked about specific aircrafts and things, but we're going to expand into sci-fi stuff and everything else, and just try to help you become more comfortable with aerospace and everything involved in it. Last year, 1.34 million people died in car accidents. I'm going to guess this is the United States. 1.34 million people died in car accidents. 287 people died in aviation accidents. That is impressive. That is an impressive statistic. Are you going to make an SR-71 video? Yes, that's on the list. Let's see. Have you seen Futurama? If so, do you think it could happen? Futurama. I mean, it's definitely a cartoon future, but I tend not to want to make predictions for the distant future because, truth be told, I don't know where we're going to be. None of us do. The world, when we die, is going to be significantly different than what it was when we lived. I mean, for those of you born in 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, you've already seen that the world has changed a lot as we've grown up. And that's only going to change more and accelerate as computer technology and aerospace technology continue to advance, because those are the 2 fields where we are really just going full speed ahead. And there's a huge breakthrough coming in computers, where computers are capable of designing more advanced parts than what we're capable of designing. And we are right now on the very brink of it. We are starting to see it with the NVIDIA A100 and the other new supercomputing technologies that are out there. I just saw a research paper that says it's going to slow down. I actually think the opposite. I think it's going to accelerate. The sunglasses are back. Oh, that was worldwide. Wow. Will there possibly be a video about the Stuka series of World War II fighters? Possibly. If we ever grow big, we may do a aviation history channel where I can talk about stuff that has swastikas on it, because I'm afraid that talking about stuff with swastikas is going to tank the channel, which is not great. How does one become first class on the, I'm guessing you're talking about the Discord. I have no idea. Ask. I'll give it to you. I just message me. I'll do it. I said it before. I'll make anyone staff. I don't care. George, I did. How does quantum computing is making a rise? Yes, it is. And I think it's going to continue to grow. Aviation history. Yay, I'm down. When you guys go big, you should partner with Simple History. I would absolutely love to. I'd partner with Time Goes, Simple History, any one of them. I love all of the work that they do. Now, I want to make something clear. That's if we go big. There's a good chance that this channel does not continue to grow. Our growth has been really, really slow over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, there's a good chance that this is going to be a very, very long road, and possibly one that we never reach the end of. And I want you all to be aware of that I'm going to continue making content regardless of how it grows. But the only way that it can grow is if the community supports it. And if you guys go out and you say, you know what, I really believe in this channel, I want more people to experience it. I can't drive this home enough. More people need to hear about our channel, because our number one thing that we're hearing is not that I didn't enjoy your content or it needs to be better, but that YouTube didn't expose me to it. So, just something to think about. ForeFlight or Garmin Pilot? Garmin Pilot can be on Android as well. ForeFlight cannot. ForeFlight is Apple only, but I have an iPad for that, and I hate it. So I don't use either of them, actually. Thoughts on the P-51 Mustang? Love it. All right. Next news thing. So much of this news is so much of this is garbage. Researchers develop thin heat shield for super fast aircraft. Now that's a big development. That's a major step forward. The world of aerospace increasingly relies on carbon fiber reinforced polymer composites to build the structures of satellites, rocket, and jet aircraft. But the life of those materials is limited by how they handle heat. A team of FAMU, FSU, College of Engineering researchers from Florida State. Okay, so that's Florida State University's High Performance Materials Institute is developing a design for a heat shield that better protects those extremely fast machines. It will be published in the November edition of Carbon. So they're going to come up with supposedly high temperature carbon fiber. And they're using carbon nanotubes. Boy, there is not a single thing that I have seen tossed around more than the word carbon nanotube. I've seen it in so much stuff, and they're very useful. But we need to, if anyone wants to make tons of money, get into the production of carbon nanotubes. If you can do that, you'll be a millionaire. Where am I going to school? Kent State. Next in the fall. I've been trying to promote the channel, but I'm not getting any attention. Yeah, I felt that one. What's your favorite Star Wars starfighter? General Grievous is starfighter because we can actually build it. We can make that bad boy fly. Are you a true Team Fortress 2 gamer? I am not. It's just time. It's a time thing. There is a Reddit. Yeah, there is a Reddit. No, don't waste time with Reddit. No, Kent, K-E-N-T, Catalyst Fusion, Kent State. By the way, let's get into some questions. I've covered every topic that I wanted to cover. Oh, one more topic, one more scandal. 737 video. I was accused of being on a comment that is now deleted, of being a Boeing apologist, and that Boeing was doing criminal stuff, and that the idea that the Chinese Communist Party had any, ill intentions regarding the MAX was just not true and not founded. I want to get into that and talk about my stance on the 737 MAX a little more. First of all, this plane shouldn't exist, okay? Just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Shouldn't exist, but it's not Boeing's fault that it exists. It's the FAA's fault because they make it so damn hard for us to design new airplanes. They're getting in the way. Like, this only exists because of regulation. If the regulation hadn't been so tight, Boeing would have just quit on the 737. They would have designed a new one. But because of external pressure from China and because of regulation, Boeing had to push forward. They didn't get a choice. It wouldn't have mattered if it was McDonnell Douglas, who's now gone, Boeing, Lockheed Martin. They all would have done the same thing. It didn't matter who was in that place. It was just the place that they were put in. And on the 737 MAX, in that video, I said that I made a prediction that the Chinese airlines would end up taking all of their orders from Boeing, canceling them, and then writing them off as losses. They did that. They did that last week. So it did happen. What I predicted happened, and that shows pure ill intent from the Communist Party of China because these were multiple corporations controlled by the same entity and they all made the same decision. That tends to imply that the decisions were not made by the corporations, they were made by the controlling entity, which is the Chinese Communist Party. And as they are developing their own aircraft over here in Comac, there is a conflict of interest there because it's all centralized. And I'm not a Boeing apologist, but I am an American apologist. I stand up for American industry, for American engineering, and for actually producing stuff. Because the Chinese have been stealing our data and they've been doing stuff that's just downright wrong. They've been cutting corners. And when people want to stand up and go, I'm standing up for the Chinese Communist Party, I couldn't engage with that person at that time because I couldn't justify their comment as something that is worth arguing because it's such a dumb argument. In that video, I'm not a Boeing apologist. But if you want to see people tear Boeing apart, well, you can watch any video from CNN, Fox, MSNBC. They will all tell you aviation is unsafe because corporations are more interested in their profits than they are in your safety. And they want to protect you from flying, which they really don't because none of the crashes happen here. You know, like they're people, the people who watch MSNBC would not have gotten on an Ethiopian Airlines flight. It wouldn't have happened. So it's always kind of a dumb argument. They're making it because it keeps people interested in watching. Personally, I think from Ryan Crossman, I think Boeing made the mistake of making a new plane that flies different, but tried to keep it in the same type of certificate so they did not have to retrain pilots. Yeah, I agree that was a mistake. But a lot of people watching this have no idea what that means, which sucks. It sucks that aviation is not taught more in school. Do you condone the concealed carry of 20 millimeter arms? Yes, absolutely. Nice flush hidden on the F-16. That's where that 20 millimeter should be. What do you get from Chick-fil-A? How do you know I go to Chick-fil-A? I get the deluxe sandwich and then I take the tomato off and the pickles off. So it's basically just a regular sandwich with lettuce. And I always get a vanilla milkshake. Their milkshakes are really good. The news is a waste of time now. Yeah, actually, I agree. I've not been very happy with any of the news. Fox News, MSNBC, CNN. Actually, CNN is the worst out of the three, which is kind of weird. Like, I can sit down and watch MSNBC, and I'm okay with it because I know that there's going to be some bias. Same thing with Fox News. Like, you go into Fox News knowing it's going to be biased, but you sit down for CNN, it's like, you guys are claiming to be unbiased. What the heck? Oh well. Isn't the 737 MAX practically the aircraft equivalency of the British L-85A1 battle rifle? Yeah, I'd say that's a decent advance, but useless. I know this isn't really a Q&A, but I missed the one you did. So what is your opinion on Pork Sword? I don't know anything about him. I don't even think it's one person. I think it's multiple people. Get my news from Villager News. Me too, buddy. Me too. Villager News is great. Even BBC is being a little biased. Yeah, it's decent. Now let's look at more aviation news here. I want to get into some more topics. I don't know what the headlines have been, so let's just type aerospace into Bing, which I use Bing, by the way. Shining a new light with a new ground beacon. No, why atomic clocks are so critical to the future of space. Yeah, because time moves differently throughout the universe, and having a master clock for what time is like on Earth is going to be huge. And by the way, augmented reality and those 3D holograms are going to be huge in space travel, because it's the only way we're going to be able to like create star maps. They have to be 3D. They can't be 2D. Have you been on iFunny since you handed off your account? Not really. I feel bad for not knowing much about aircraft, but watching your channel is helping a lot because it's something I wanted to get into. That's the idea. That's what you're here for. Oh, your airplane friend? Name every airplane. Somebody else did that for me because that took far too long. Bing bad, Opera good. Opera is owned by the Chinese government. Be very careful when you're working with them. Their VPN is actually just a proxy, and that server is located in China, and it's been proven that they do mine your data, and they are saving it in a master list, which is really screwed up. Bing is fine. I get better results often because Google is very politically motivated, and those who pay the most are on the front page. Yes, that is absolutely true about Google. I actually use Bing because they bribe me to use it. I get gift cards, so it's like you sell my data, but man, that Xbox gift card paid for my Xbox Live Gold all year long, so I'm okay with it. I'll deal with it. Georgie boy, opinion on the claim of British 6th gen. Yeah, okay, so for those of you who don't know, there's 4 generations of fighters right now. There's the old stuff, F-16s, F-15s, Su-27s. The fighter jet, as you know it, is a 4th generation design. Then you've got 5th generation. So these are your F-35s, your Su-57s from Russia, your F-22 B-2 bomber. They're stealth. They're not designed to dogfight as much as they're designed to just not be able to be seen and to fight beyond visual range with electronic warfare. This is kind of like comparing the man-of-war ships from the old days where they sailed alongside each other, like in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, dueling it out, versus nowadays where we fire destroy, like the destroyer or the battleship sees them on on the scope, and they're like, I see them 40 miles away, and then they give them like the targeting, and then they fire it and it goes over the horizon and kills some people that they never even saw. That's kind of the difference between 4th and 5th. 6th generation can go to freaking space. So 6th generation fighters are essentially hypersonic. That means that they go at least, I believe it's 3 times above the speed of sound. And they're going to look a little bit different, and they're going to be primarily ground to space fighter aircraft flying in low Earth orbit, able to take out satellites. That's going to be our 6th gen fighters, and we are on the brink. So right now, countries are having to choose between do they build large amounts of 5th generation fighters, which is what we've done, or do they push for the 6th gen fighters, which is what Britain is doing. And Russia is doing this as well. Russia's actually further along than everyone else, which is a little bit concerning. China is close second, and they are developing their 6th gen fighters a lot faster than we are. But our SR-72 is borderline 6th generation. The SR-72 is a drone, though. So why did they shadow ban you after promoting your YouTube channel? Probably because you're promoting your YouTube channel. Do you think the GAU-8, which is the 30 millimeter cannon on the A-10, has a place in the future of aerospace warfare? Probably not. It's probably a dying platform. It'll be used for close air support, but I think the combat conditions that offer close air support are going to start fading as the U.S. gets sick of being involved in ground wars. Why do you crave the forbidden lamp? What's the forbidden lamp? Is that like the jet engine? Oh, the other guy. I crave the forbidden lamp. Oh, it's the moth guy. I actually have been watching a lot of laser videos lately about the advancement of lasers, and I'm thinking that we might have high energy weapons on aircraft, because there's currently a design that can turn radiation directly into electricity, but we don't use it because it requires gold, and nobody's wanted to test it because it requires building a type of reactor that we don't have. It needs to be an exposed one without shielding, and right now we can't really build reactors without shitloads of shielding. The idea is that a single layer would absorb all of the radiation and turn it into usable electricity, so that we don't have to shield it and just try to absorb it. We can convert it. And that would be a huge, huge step forward for the use of nuclear technologies, but we're not doing it right now. So if we get around to doing that, we can use the heat from them to power the engines, and then we can use the electricity to power the weapons, which is brilliant. but we are not there yet. So an advanced 6th generation fighter might be nuclear powered and look something like that. Doesn't a warship have a laser weapon? Yeah, the U.S. Navy has one, but they're not very good because they're not very good at long range, and they don't do very well through the air. They don't do very well on Earth. Laser weapons might work better in space because it's going through a vacuum or near vacuum, but they do not do well on Earth. So the idea that we're going to use them more on Earth is unlikely. So we are currently at 50 minutes. 50, holy crap, 50 minutes, and I spent a lot of time doing next to absolutely nothing. But hey, you know, it was fun. I'm glad we talked a little bit about the 737 MAX, a little bit about iFunny, and we covered a few questions, covered a little bit of aviation news. Yeah, I'm happy. We got another 9 minutes, so we're going to go over some questions, and then we're going to call it a day. By the way, if you are new and you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't hit like on this, please hit that like button. And yeah, if you like airplanes, you know, join the Discord or something. How do laser-targeted air-to-ground missiles work, if you know? Let me remember. It's so complex, we're going to have to do a video on it. George is waiting for real-life Star Wars, more specifically the X-Wings or TIE Fighters. More or less real-life Star Trek. Star Wars is, like, cool, but it's not going to happen. Star Trek might happen, though. Have you played From the Depths or Terratech? I have not. I would love to, but I don't have time right now. At some point, I might. What scandal was I addressing? I was addressing the iFunny scandal of me advertising my own content on iFunny, and I was addressing the 737 MAX scandal, which is so terrible, and the fact that we have more subscribers than we do views, which is also a little... Some people don't like that. If I throw it back, is it fat enough? I have no idea. Is the SR-72 almost finished? It is probably already finished, to tell you the truth. A lot of what the U.S. does is we say we're working on something when it's already done. And so we're like, yeah, it'll be done in, 10 years from now. And then it's like, oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah, we finished that 12 years ago. We did that with the F-117, and we did it with the B-2. So the idea that the B-21 or SR-71 are already done is not that crazy. Jack Northrop or the Horton brothers. So for those of you who don't know, Jack Northrop was an American flying wing designer. He believed in the idea of the flying wing. He was an aerodynamicist. He was a genius. But for a lot of his life, people just regarded him as a little bit crazy. But when the Air Force finally got around to looking at his designs and going, that might actually work, he ended up being a part of the B-2 design program. And he had been trying to design stuff since the 1920s. He was one of the original group of airplane designers back in the golden age of aviation. The Horton brothers were a German equivalent. They wanted to design flying wings as well. They designed the Horton HO-226, a Nazi flying wing fighter, which was, by many accounts, the very first stealth fighter. I like Northrop because I'm a proud American, but there is something to be said for the Horton brothers being able to build a flying, working combat aircraft and bringing it from pre-production to flight ready in only a couple years. It was really, really impressive. I need to look something up real quick. I don't know how I feel about this. Nope, not gonna mention that in chat. Flying wings are very difficult to fly. Yes, they are. Didn't the Nazis make the first jet? Actually, the British did. The British made the first jet, and then I believe our P-80 Shooting Star P-80A actually beat the Me-262 by a little bit. Let me look that up. So P-80 first flight was 1944, January 8th. 262 first. Oh, they had us beat by a ton. Never mind. Yeah, they had us. Yeah, the Germans had one by 1941. The British had an aircraft as well. The British actually had the first ground functioning turbine, and the first functioning jet was, like, the actual jet engine, was made in ancient Greece. It was called the Aerophile. Not to be confused with the other thing of a similar name. And it was generally considered a toy. They didn't do anything with it. But The Germans were the ones who were able to turn it into a functioning jet. And when they did that, they had horrible reliability, and it never really worked out. You can have the best flying airplane in the world, but if it's stuck on the ground waiting on maintenance, it doesn't mean anything. That's why the F-14 was retired, and the F-105, and the B-1 will likely be retired. And I believe the B-57 and B-58 were both retired for those reasons. That the high maintenance time and the fact that they were so complicated and so much broke on them, it just, yeah, they flew better, but at what cost? They could very rarely fly. Yes, the ancient Greeks did design the first jet-powered device. It was basically they put water into a like a jug, and they put it on an axle, and they heated it up over a fire, and then it spun. So they got this thing spinning with steam powered. They created a baby steam spinning steam turbine type device, and they did nothing with it. This is why the ancient Greeks failed, because they looked at that and they went, oh, wow, spinning motion, torque, that's cool. Let's just not do anything with this ever. They could have had, they could have had water pumps. They could have had powered vehicles. They were so close to unlocking the secrets of industrialization 2,000 years, more than 2,000 years ago. It was like 4,000 years ago now. They just didn't do anything with it. They're like, well, that's a cute toy. I like that. I like that. That's a nice toy. Let's show it to the kids. The kids will like that. What's your stance on the porn on iPhone? I don't care. I'm not on there anymore. Swing wings. Yeah, swing wings are high maintenance. Boo again. Did I scare you this time? Yes, you did. Important question from David Lentz. Yeah, if that was the same one, I answered it. I have time for one more question, and then I'm going to depart. I'm going to start writing scripts for these things. I wasn't able to because I was busy studying all day, and I was busy studying yesterday as well. But, hopefully for the future, we will have a script. That's what I was trying to say. How was my day? My day was absolutely wonderful. I spent it studying, and I went to my friend's graduation party, which is the only graduation party I've been to. It was okay. It was a lot of people sitting around a table. They were nice people. I came off as a psychopath the whole time because I was kind of in psychopath mode. I was like, I was sitting there. I was like, how much can I make these people think that I'm insane? And I kind of went ahead and just did that. It's been a whole week since the last stream. Yeah, it has. And this time, nobody's going to interrupt it to end. So once we hit 1 minute, 30 seconds from now, I'm going to call it quits and go give all the videos a watch if you haven't seen them. We got 3 of them. We got a 4th one coming out at some point. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 stream every Saturday, and I'm going to start dressing up in like the bow tie and the vest, and then I'll get like a set up here, and then I'll get an actual camera. So I'm not on my laptop. I'll get an actual camera, and we will have some fun, play some games or something. And, maybe I think Flight Simulator 2020 is coming out soon. We will probably almost certainly do that. I've got some VR goggles around here that I'll put on and try to fly it in VR. Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for what we should do next stream, be sure to leave them in the comments at the end of the stream, and be sure to share them on the Discord if you are a member. And I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate all of you being here. And I think with that, I need to go back. Go. Oh, I like this is pushing on my forehead. This hurts. Why do people do this? Do they not like have a functioning brain or skull? Like what makes you think that this is like not painful? When birthday? We'll talk about that another time. So if you guys have suggestions for the live stream, hit me up. Have a wonderful evening. I'm using my mouse on the wrong computer. Okay, ready? I missed it. Now it's not an hour. Fuck. Wait. Oh, I gotta hit another button? I need to edit out this last part so it's an hour. Christ.